Hi everyone, welcome to our new series. I'm super excited about this series called Anna's Nail Advice, where the viewers send me pictures of their nails for my review. So this viewer sent me these pictures. Her name is Teresa. I hope it's okay that I use your name. So hi Teresa, thank you so much for sending me these really good quality pictures, which really helped me to give you a proper advice. So these are the pictures. And you see, when they are very good quality, that's why I'm begging you always for good quality. I can zoom in, and I can really see what's going on. So these are the pictures, and so there's good news and there's bad news. Good news is, well, the bad news is that the poor nails, they look like they need, and the skin around the nails, lots of love. But the good news is that it's quite easy to actually fix the problems that you are having. But first we have to understand what's going on, because then we will be able to understand how to fix the issue. All right, so let's just see what she's saying first. She says, I watched your YouTube video last night about damaged cuticle advice. It was really interesting and really helpful that it was recorded from the same angle we see our nails. I did a live yesterday, so that's what it was. I live in the UK, so I hope it's okay for me to send photos of my damaged cuticles to you. My cuticles and nails look really ugly at the moment, and if I would like to know how to improve them. My nails are quite dehydrated. I have caused a lot of damage to my cuticles by cutting them. Now I understand why the hard skin keeps returning. My cuticles look awful and I don't know how to begin repairing them. Also in the nail channel fold, at the sides of my nails, I frequently get sharp pieces of nail growing from the side of my nails. Can you help me, please? And she also has some issues with the toenails, but we'll get back to this later. Okay, so first of all, and I'm not trying to be, it's funny, cuticle police. I'm not trying to be the cuticle police and constantly correct everyone about the cuticle, but it is so important to understand what cuticle is and what cuticle isn't. Because once we understand what it is, everything becomes very clear. So I'm so excited to do this video because I'm so passionate about this topic. And again, because this is such a light bulb moment that once you understand, you will never be the same. All right, so first of all, I wanted to show you this amazing information that has been published by Doug Schoon. Here it is, schoonscientific.com. Doug Schoon is a very well-known chemist, internationally known. He does a lot of seminars. He wrote many books, and he's incredible. I had a chance to meet him personally on quite a few occasions. Super cool guy. So I'm so appreciative of all the work that he does. So this is on his website. By the way, he has a few books. And even if you're not a nail technician, but you are a person who's just interested in nails, they are very good. I love his books. They explain everything so well. So he has 3 of them. I have all 3 of them, and I highly recommend that they're available on Amazon, iTunes, and all the other stuff. Anyway, so this article is quite new. It has been published in April 2019, and this is the newest information. His goal also, I think I got the bug, let's just say, about the cuticle because of his work that he's done, because it finally made sense to me. Because it never made sense, because the cuticle, they were saying you have to remove it, but then you have to moisturize it, then you have to take care of it, but then you have to exfoliate it and cut it. I couldn't understand. That doesn't make any sense. So finally, with this information that he provided in an amazingly easy way, it all made sense. So let's look at the picture here. So this person is having issues with, it's not the cuticle, okay? She is having issues with the skin around her nails. Because we think of cuticle as this magical thing that has to be, again, either removed or exfoliated or pushed back or moisturized. It doesn't make sense, right? So the cuticle is actually this thin little tissue that's growing, it's actually produced by the skin here, between the skin, the proximal nail fold, and the nail plate. It acts as a seal between the nail and the skin. So the proximal nail fold is like a big chunk of skin all around the nail. So that's a proximal nail fold. And think of that skin as a fold. This is really, really important. The edge of the proximal nail fold is what we see, and it has a slightly different sometimes texture because it's keratinized. So it's just a little bit drier sometimes, it's just a little bit different looking. But that doesn't mean that it has to be removed, this piece. What needs to be removed is the cuticle. So I'll show you another picture that I have of my client. And then we'll go back to these pictures here. Okay, so this is proximal nail fold, so the skin around the nails that is stretched. This is what's happening. So what's happening sometimes is that for some reason, for some people they don't do anything and the skin is perfectly fine. But for some people, this tissue, the skin, gets stuck, and as the nail is growing, it keeps growing with it. And at some point, very often, especially when the skin is not really taken care of, can rip and can cause like these little areas of damage. So what we have to do is not to cut this area, because you're cutting living skin, which is going to cause more issues in the long run. What we need to do is we have to take care of the skin and push it back very, very gently so you can get to this cuticle tissue, and the cuticle is right here. So this skin here is not a cuticle. This is living skin. It's called proximal nail fold, or if you don't want to use the term, fancy term, just use skin around my nails, the term, right? Because once you understand that this is just skin around your nails, then you know how to normally take care of a skin. But cuticle is right here underneath. And as you can see on this nail, I can't pull it up, the cuticle is here, proximal nail fold is here. So the dead skin is here, the living skin is here. This is the living skin, the cuticle peeks through here. Okay? So in this case, and I'll show you another picture of one of my clients, very good example. This is not a torn cuticle. You cannot tear cuticle. Cuticle is a dead tissue, it will never bleed. And I'll explain to you why. This is torn skin. This is torn skin. And the cuticle is right here. Okay, so this is starting to become very, very clear. We have two areas. One area that we have to take care of, this area, and one area we can remove just so the nail polish looks nice on our nails, right? All right, so I'm going to show you actually on my table right here what I'm talking about, because, and let's go back to Doug's picture. All right, so the proximal nail fold, again, it's a fold. So this is a towel and this is a fold. So let's imagine that this is a nail, we're looking at it like this, okay? So this part, this skin is here, this is the nail. So the proximal nail fold is actually a skin flap, almost. Think of it as a flap. And eponychium is a word that was mistakenly used as for cuticle, which is eponychium is not a cuticle. So we're getting a biology lesson, who knew? So eponychium is actually the underside of the proximal nail fold. So eponychium is situated underneath this flap of skin and is made of stem cells that are actually producing cuticle. So you can imagine that cuticle is cells of skin like this that are made here. So what happens, okay, can you see what I'm doing here? Okay, so what happens, so these cells are made so the the space between the skin and the nail, so that space can be protected. So it can be sealed so nothing can get through to damage the matrix of the nail, which is underneath. The matrix is right here. By the way, this is really interesting. The matrix extends all the way from underneath the nail plate here, and this is lunula, is a part of visible matrix. So this is where the nail is actually being produced. So nail is made over here. It's not made by the nail bed. This is so fascinating. So the nail is not made from bottom up, it's made from like inside out. Anyway, let's go back to the cuticle. So the cuticle is made by these cells, and then it's in between the nail plate, freshly made nail plate, and the skin flap. So when the nail is growing, what happens is, let's just actually do it this way. This is what's happening, okay? So the cuticle tissue is starting to peek from underneath the skin. So sometimes, and it's usually because this living skin is being either abraded, or it's being pushed too hard, or it's being just damaged or picked out, this is getting harder. So what normally people do is they think of this as a cuticle, now we have to remove it. So they cut it. What happens with the cut skin? It starts to peel and fray and just becomes thicker, because a living skin is not stupid. It's trying to protect, because it knows that you're gonna damage it again, so it's gonna get tougher and tougher and tougher. So the important part is to start thinking of all the skin as a precious living skin, and we have to take care of this, not cut it or abrade it or pick at it. Okay, what we can do is we can safely remove this away. So sometimes we have to just nudge it back a little bit. Okay, let's just imagine that this is now healed because we protected it. Okay, but we still have some areas that can be a little bit uneven, okay? So what we can do is gently nudge it. So then we can get at this skin a little bit that's peeking through. So we don't want to tear it because I can't tear it. Let's just say we can now remove it so we have a clean area for the nail polish to be applied nicely around the skin. Okay, so this kind of goes like this. So we can then now polish the nails, obviously without touching the skin. So that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, to me, it was unbelievable understanding all this. So now let's go back in this person's case. I hope I explained everything properly when it comes to dogs, and I highly recommend. I actually always have a link to this page in my description box. So let's look at the skin, because not only here we had the issue with the skin, but also we have the issue with the nails, which we are going to talk about. Let's open up the pictures again. Okay, so what do I see here, especially on the thumbs? Okay, so what I see here is I see damaged, cut, living skin. I don't see cuticle here. I see a little bit of cuticle here. So what I see is a damaged proximal nail fold. And because it's damaged, it's going to grow back thicker. And it's going to try to protect itself because you continuously are challenging it and cutting it, so it's just, you know, peeling. So if you cut this area, again, it's going to fray because it's been cut. That fold is gone already. Same here. And let's see this other picture. Okay, here. This is a very good example. What's happening here is I can see that this whole skin, and this very often happens to the thumbs, is that this whole area, you can see it's not nicely healthy. It looks like it's abraded. It's very irritated. So again, because now we know, by the way, the cuticle is right here. A little bit of cuticle is visible. This is living skin. Now that we know that this is just the skin, we have to understand one thing about the skin. The skin top layer, so the layer that we see, is called stratum corneum. And that area of the skin is made so the skin, it's a skin barrier. So think of it as like a brick wall. This actually would be a good comparison. So it's a brick wall to protect your house, to protect your body. So what happens is very often people think that the dry skin is, they say, okay, I have dry skin here, so I have to remove it. People often think that dry skin is like a foreign skin that sits on top of your real skin, on top of your good skin. They don't understand that it's actually not this way. It's your good skin, your real skin is falling apart. So those bricks are usually, they're held together by like a grout. So they're held together with oils, with lipids, with ceramides and cholesterol and things like that. So when those skin cells are flaking and they are coming apart, that just means that those bricks, it's the little bricks that are getting loose and they're falling out. And then you will have bigger issue because then your outside wall is gone. Now let's say you have insulation under that wall that's much softer and you're getting more damage. The heat can escape from the house. The house can get too much moisture inside, so that barrier is gone. What we need to remember to do is to protect that skin barrier. This is really, really important. So the dryness is just a sign or a symptom of broken down skin barrier. And there could be quite a few reasons why the skin is damaged, like why the skin barrier is damaged. So when the skin gets dry, irritated, then we can suspect that the skin barrier is damaged. So the reason why that can happen very quickly is environments. It's either too humid or too dry. It happens in the winter very often. Another thing, sun exposure can also cause it, and also exposure to harsh chemicals, and believe it or not, even water. So too much water can break down the skin as well. Over exfoliation or over washing. And this is very often why this is happening. So it's happening because we try to remove, again, the dry skin by exfoliating it. And I see it all the time. There is this huge now trend with, the exfoliating scrubs and all that stuff. And this is like a very instant gratification, because what happens is you will remove the top cells and the bottom layer starts to look really nice and smooth. And you're like, oh, wow, this really works. But it's it's instant gratification. It's a very temporary thing, because you have just now exposed the deeper layer of the skin, that now the deeper layer of the skin is going to get damaged, and we are creating inflammation that's going to cause more thicker skin, and it's a catch-22, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. Another thing, very quickly, why the damaged skin barrier can happen: sometimes medication, stress, and genetics. We don't have control over everything, but we have control over quite a few things, right? So we can protect our skin when it's too humid or it's too dry. We can put a humidifier sometimes in the room. We can protect our skin from too much sun, obviously. We can protect our skin from certain harsh chemicals, so like detergents, things like that, and too much water as well. We can stop over exfoliating, because a lot of times this is happening because we are removing more skin that the skin can fix itself. And overwashing as well. We can manage stress to a degree. I know it sounds crazy, but we can work on it. Sometimes medication cannot be changed, genetics can't be changed, but there's a lot of things that we can't change. So first thing that I would do immediately is to figure out how to correct the situation. And to correct the situation, I would stop any type of exfoliation, any type of scrubs, any type of pushing, prodding, cutting, this right now, and the skin will repair itself. But it takes time. So it takes 2 weeks to about a month or something to start seeing a difference. So please be very, very patient. And how do we protect and restore the skin barrier? So first of all, products that are rich in oils, So that's why a lot of times you hear that people recommend, and cuticle oil is not the correct word because the cuticle we're not worried about here. The cuticle is dead and I'm going to remove it. Skin and nail oils. So those cuticle oils should be really called skin and nail oils. They're not for cuticle, they are for skin and nails. So oils of jojoba, coconut oils, oil almond, borage, rosehip, sunflower, and soybean, and many other. Avocado oils are also excellent. So using sometimes one oil is okay, but I prefer personally, I find that mixture of certain oils is a little bit more effective. Ceramides, another ingredient that is very, very helpful. Some creams have, and I swear by CeraVe lotion, which is very, very light. So after I wash my hands each time, I apply a tiny little dab of the CeraVe lotion, and I have the links to affiliate links in the description box. So if you would like to support the channel, I have to plug it in. Please purchase through our links. That would be absolutely awesome. And so ceramides, moisturizers. So moisturizers would be like hyaluronic acid. So look at the ingredients like hyaluronic acid, glycerin, honey, urea. I'm a huge, huge fan of urea because urea, what it does, it brings moisture to the, well, moisturizers, they bring moisture to the skin and they hold it near the skin. So humectants, that's what they do. And also I'm a very big fan because, you know, the skin around on the nails and the hands doesn't have really any oil glands. So it needs oils, usually from, I think, I'm not a biologist, but it makes sense to me that it can get oil from other parts of our body. So from our hair or from, you know, even face and things like that. So we need to replenish those oils. And also occlusives make a very, very big difference. So things like Vaseline, believe it or not, very, very helpful ingredient. It really, so once we have the water near the surface of the skin, we want to keep it there, right? So very often when people have dry skin like this, they say, I have to drink more water. But the thing is, if that brick wall is gone, you might have all the water you know, in your house, but it will evaporate because there's nothing holding it in the skin. So we need to have proper barrier of the skin. So here's what I'm seeing. So this is quite easy to fix. Make sure that you use a light lotion every time you wash your hands. CeraVe is amazing. At night, I would highly recommend ointments, thicker ointments, like Carousel, because Carousel has 3 really, really good ingredients. It has Vaseline, which is a very, very good occlusive. People don't have allergic reactions to the Vaseline. And also, don't be afraid of it because people think it's synthetic, so it's bad. It's absolutely not bad. It's very, very gentle on the skin. So I like to use it at night. Carousel also has urea, 10% urea, which is very good because urea also is, in higher amounts, it is a little bit exfoliating. So it will help the cells to kind of slough off in a very healthy way. And also has the salicylic acid. I think it has 2%. So it does, salicylic acid, it exfoliates the skin, but also is anti-inflammatory, so it will help the skin to heal. Another really good ingredient is, for example, panthenol, things like that. You want really good aloe vera and things like that are very good for healing skin. So I personally like the Bepantol or something like that. It's called, I'll give you a link below too. It's available here in Spain. It's a very heavy cream. I use it at night. It actually soaks in right away. And you know, it's incredible. My feet, I don't even have to use pumice or anything like that. It's incredible what daily care does. And you know what, by the way, I have to kind of say one thing that I'm very, very sad is that I'm starting to realize as a nail technician that I really cannot provide that much for my clients, because when they come in with skin like this, they usually would say, Anya, just please fix it, do something. And believe it or not, there is not much I can do. I can gently remove the cuticle, but I cannot heal the skin. And yes, I can, you know, I do use sometimes electric file you're stuck sometimes in this really sad position that you want to give clients something. You want to give them because you can't just say, oh, I'll just file your nail, put polish on and you can go, because you're not going to be happy. But really, I can't do that much clients have to take care of their skin on a regular basis, because if they come to me once every 2-3 weeks, that's like having a good diet once every 2 weeks. It's not going to make any difference. What you need to do is you need to have a, you know, good healthy diet every single day. All right, so my goodness, I hope all of this makes sense, because this is so important. Another thing is that the person was asking me, it was the nail. How come the nail is dry? And the nail is almost very similar to the skin situation. What happens, what should be banned, which should be illegal, is, okay, I'm joking here, is any type of buffers, really. Or I've heard people talking about nano buffers or something. So it's really a glass that you're supposed to use to shine your nail. And I'm like, oh my God, it's a disaster waiting to happen, because the skin, at least, it is growing from the bottom up. So it's the exfoliation, and I'm not saying that it's okay to over exfoliate, but at least the skin will heal itself. The nail, okay, let's go back to Doug's information. The nail is not being, it's not going to grow from here up. So if you damage half of it, so by the way, the nail is consists of about 50 layers of keratin. So when you take away, very easy, 10 layers, super easy. I've seen people that remove half their nail, or even 60%, disaster. When you remove this nail is not going to regrow this way. It has to regrow from here. So this is every week the nail grows 1 millimeter. So after, you know, 1 month, you have this 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Usually it's 6 months until the nail completely grows out. So sometimes when people have a lot of damage to the nail, they give their nails a break of 2 weeks. You're gonna see some healthy growth, maybe like up to here. You're not gonna see much. This end is not going to be any better in 2 weeks. Okay, so the sad thing is that the nail is not growing from here, and there is nothing you can do to actually repair the nail, believe it or not. So the nail has to, it repairs from here. So it grows from here. Your body is making it here. It's being produced here. So it's actually, that's why a lot of times the nourishing things, nothing can nourish the nail from here. You can nourish the nail from here, so from your blood. And by the way, what drives me crazy sometimes is, you know, companies are saying that they have these ingredients, vitamins, yada, yada, that are good for the nails because they're nourishing. The nail is dead. No amount of vitamins is gonna make it alive. So where the nail needs vitamins and nutrients is here. So we have to eat those vitamins and eat properly and digest all these things properly in order for the nail to be healthy and to grow healthy. We can't do it from the top. That's almost like, you know, trying to build muscle by like rubbing a chicken breast on your leg. It's not going to work. Like it's, I wish, right? Or, you know, you're not gonna get fat by putting coconut oil on your body. It doesn't work that way. You have to eat it in order for this to work. So that's how it works. My goodness, I wanted to make a very short video, or like a 10-minute video, and it's just half an hour later and I'm still talking. So I'm really sorry, but I'm so passionate, and I hope you're not sick and tired of these videos, but I have so many people asking me for my help and to guide them what to do, and I've seen some really kind of, I hate to say, disturbing images, and I know how to help them, and I just want to get through all these videos to even show you guys what not to do, because wow, the recent email that I received. So I wanted to make these videos as quickly as possible to send them out to the universe so you guys can learn. So all I'm seeing here is overfiled nail. So this is damaged nail. It's not just dryness, it's damaged. What I like to see is it's probably damaged up to here, because what I'm looking for normally is a very healthy little ridges. You can see these ridges that should never be buffed. You don't want to buff the nail because buffing removes layers, and those layers are keeping the nail together. Once you, by the way, nail is also made from layers, and the top layers of the nail are the most dense layers to protect the nail. Once those layers are removed, you are reaching more of a spongy nail that, first of all, doesn't hold nail polish really well. It gets stained very, very easily. It doesn't hold moisture really well. and that part then has to grow out. So you can seal it a little bit with, for example, like IBX treatments, things like that, which are salon only treatments. It is a decent treatment that I would definitely recommend. It's not a miracle. It's not going to regrow your nails, but it's going to keep together what you have so it doesn't fall apart. Another thing that I could recommend, there is not that much on the market, believe it or not. What I would recommend also is the Rescue RX made by C&D. It also kind of bonds to the nail a little bit, and it just keeps it together. Again, it's not a miracle. It's not going to rebuild your nails, but it's going to help. What I don't recommend is more artificial products, so any gels, anything like that, because they are going to bond to the natural nail, yes. But what happens is if that plate is damaged, the product is not going to bond properly. It's going to be a very weak bond because the top layer of the nail, like I mentioned, is a layer that bonds to the product really, really well. The bottom layers don't bond that well. So the product is going to chip off, peel off, creating even more damage, because if it's bonded to that 50th layer, or sorry, let's say 20th layer, is going to take another 5 layers with it when it breaks. So this, what you're seeing is you're seeing layers of the nail peeling, delamination. It's called delamination because it's that those layers are peeling away from the nail. So again, lots of oil. The oil, what's going to help is it's going to absorb into the nail to a degree, and it's going to plasticize the nail a little bit, and it's going to help so the nail doesn't get too brittle and it doesn't absorb too much water, because too much water is not very good for the nail either. So it's going to protect the nail from the water, but it has to be done one little swipe, and I'm going to show you right here. I actually have this bottle on my table, and I show my clients what I do after I wash my hands, because they think that using oil is, a big problem, but I show them how much oil. So this is what I do, and I show them how much oil I use, and I rub it in. And you know what, even if this drives you crazy, just use some towel and just wipe the excess in a towel. So now, you see, this is not greasy whatsoever, but doing that took me a second. So have that in your pocket, have that in your purse, have it next to your bathroom, good quality oil with the ingredients that I mentioned. You can even make it yourself. Just get even sunflower oil, jojoba oil, mix it with vitamin E, perfect. So this is what I do, and then the cream. Alrighty, so yes, and sometimes using, what I would recommend to that person is just one coat of a nail polish. I find that sometimes one coat is better than like a full 5 coats of nails, of a nail polish. I don't know why, but I find that that works better. It's just one coat. If you have to keep your nails short, which she does, and by the way, she has a really nice shape of her nails. She did a really good job filing. She also asked me about the pieces of nail. It's not usually, I think, pieces of nail, it's more of a pieces of hard skin. So that carousel, that product is going to help, and just tiny amount every night, and it's going to really help. You see her hands are dry. This is dry and irritated, right? Very often we mistake the irritation with dryness. But yes, this is all kind of irritated skin. Okay, very quickly, my goodness. We're almost done. Toenails were the same, a lot better, although the cuticle does not seem to keep growing. Again, it's not a cuticle, but the skin. I also have a white cloudy cast over some of my toenails. I don't think it's a fungal infection. About 2 years ago, I had a gel polish on my toenails, then I removed it myself, which I did think damaged the nail surface. Yes, but 2 years, the toenails would grow out completely. So let's say it's like with your hair. If you get a perm, I know they don't do perms anymore, but, or bleach your hair, the new growth is not going to be affected, just the ones that was bleached. So, 2 years later, that nail is going to grow out completely. But very often what happens is the nail polish can also cause that. And I know we have a lot of different opinions about that, but I do notice that some people, for some type of nails, especially when they're damaged, the nail polish almost holds too tight to the nail, creates like a little pockets of air, which are like white patches. So even I see that with the regular nail polish. This could be something that usually this is an indicator of something being pulled off the nail. Not really a nail polish damage, but it could be as well. Maybe this was like a bigger pocket. So definitely oil and those creams that I mentioned will help. As I'm editing the video, I realized that I forgot to tell you a very important piece of information or advice. Surprise, surprise. I would highly not recommend any hardeners, because very often when people see weak nails like these, well, they think they are weak nails, they reach for hardeners, and especially hardeners with formalin, which is a very good ingredient, or with dimethylurea, which also is good, but those ingredients are very good for very bendy and thin nails naturally, because they cross-link the nail, making it harder. So in this case, I really don't think these nails are naturally weak. They actually look pretty thick, pretty hard naturally. They're just damaged. So I would definitely not use anything with formalin, especially on very, very damaged nails, nails that are thin, like here. Okay, so they just need to grow out. If you have to use one coat of polish, that's fine, but don't use any hardeners. Okay, this is, I would highly suggest not using any hardeners. Alrighty guys, my goodness, thank you so much for watching. Thumbs up if you lasted this long. I hope this was helpful, not for the person only that sent me those questions, but also for all of you. And if you know someone who is interested in nails and how to care for them, please send them this video as well, because I would like to reach more people if possible. And I would really, really appreciate it if you could help me to do that. And if you're interested as well, please send me pictures of your nails and the skin and the issues that you are having. I love to see them, and I hope that I'll be able to help. Thank you so much for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye.